It was epic for its time with the largest budget and film set of any film produced. I'm talking about the 1959 version of the action-packed film Ben-Hur, a tale of Judah Ben-Hur, a prince falsely accused of treason by his adopted brother. Well, come August 19th, the remake of the classic film will be released in theaters worldwide with some powerful producers backing this project: John Ridley, Mark Burnett, and my next guest, Roma Downey. Welcome, Roma.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today. Tell me, why would you remake this classic?
Yeah, it's a bold move, isn't it? I guess mostly because it was made in 1959 and it's over 55 years ago. I mean, I have 3 children at home, and when I told them we were going to be working on a redo of this amazing picture, Ben-Hur, they all said, Ben who? And so there's a whole generation that need to know this amazing story. And remember, over the last 55 years, so much has changed in how we make movies and how actors perform in movies. There's a much more naturalistic style of acting. We expect a much quicker type of editing. If you remember, the 59 Ben-Hur came in at 3.5 hours long. It was so long, it even had an intermission. And so, the 2016 version will be a faster paced action.
You touched, Roma, on my next question. With a new generation that's not familiar with this film, I have to say that I wasn't very familiar with Ben-Hur. Tell the next generation why they need to see this movie.
Well, it's an action adventure drama, and it doesn't disappoint. It's a fast-paced, exciting, thrilling, epic journey of a lead character, Judah Ben-Hur, who lives a princely life, and through a series of events at the beginning of the movie, he suddenly finds his life has been destroyed. He's sent to the galley ships, where he's a slave for over 5 years. And we witness not just his body harden in the bowel of that ship, but we see his heart harden, and he's determined to come back with revenge, to be revenged. And it isn't until he has an encounter with Jesus Christ that his life is transformed and he understands the only way forward is forgiveness. So it's a big, whopping, exciting, textured film. And it is that, but it also holds deep in its heart a very special message about forgiveness and reconciliation. And certainly these are themes, Maggie, that we need today more than ever.
You're right, we do. You have also an amazing lineup of actors, but Morgan Freeman is a name that stands out. Tell us about Morgan Freeman working on this film.
My goodness. I mean, is there any more famous voice in the world than the voice of Morgan Freeman? And for our film Ben-Hur, we have the privilege of having Morgan Freeman open the film with his voice, and the last thing you hear in the film is his voice. He plays a character called Ilderim, and he is a chariot owner, a horse racer, a betting man. And when Judah Ben-Hur's ship is wrecked and he finds himself washed up on a beach, it's on Ilderim's beach that Judah is washed ashore. And Ilderim takes him in and teaches him how to ride these chariots. The chariot race, of course, arguably the most exciting scene in our film. It's about 15 minutes long. I promise you, you will inhale when it begins. You won't exhale till it finishes. Our director, Timur Bekmambetov, studied NASCAR and Formula One to really try to create a scene where you feel like you're in the race. He put little cameras everywhere in the wheels of the chariots, behind the ears of the horses, these little GoPro cameras. And when the whole sequence is filmed together and edited together, it's absolutely breathtaking. Jack Houston plays the role of Judah Ben-Hur. Toby Kebbell plays the role of Masala. Rodrigo Santoro plays the role of Jesus, and Nazanin Boniadi plays the role of beautiful Esther. So it's a great international cast brought together to tell this story that is really a story that's relevant today as much as ever it was.
Oh, I can't wait to see it. Now, I heard you had mentioned in previous interviews that the crucifixion scene was probably one of the most emotional for the cast and crew. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. We filmed the movie entirely in location in Italy. The exterior sequences were filmed in a town called Matera. If Italy is a boot, Matera is in the ankle bone of the country, a beautiful kind of rocky location. So it looked like it could have been, you know, the Holy Land, the rocky caves around Jerusalem. And we filmed this crucifixion scene on a very, very cold morning at the beginning of early spring, but it was bitterly cold. And for me as a producer, Maggie, it was the third time in my life that as a producer I have filmed a crucifixion sequence. I did it for the Bible series on Son of God, and I did it for AD, The Bible Continues, and now in Ben-Hur. And I tell you, it never gets easier, even though we're just creating a reenactment of one of the, you know, most famous and awful moments in history. It's still a very painful, emotionally demanding day for everybody, in particular for our actor playing Jesus, of course. In this case, Rodrigo Santoro, the Brazilian film star who stepped into the role and does such amazing work as Jesus. But we had to get him up on a cross, and we have to make sure that cross is bolted to the ground and that he's safe. And we had to, as best we could, keep him warm. We were all, of course, had the luxury of being off camera, gathered around heaters, wrapped in polar fleece and in down coats and so on. And there he was in a loincloth hanging from a tree on this bitterly cold day. But the sequence is powerful. It will touch your heart when you see it. And Judah Ben-Hur, of course, comes up to the foot of the cross. He finds himself hearing Jesus, after he's been so brutally tortured, offered to forgive the very people that are murdering him. And when he hears that, when he hears Jesus say, "Father, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing," he has an awakening in his heart. He's touched by grace, and in that moment he's saved. He's redeemed. He has a conversion. And he decides then to go and make reparation in his life and ask for forgiveness. And it's a really very, very powerful and emotional scene in our film.
Oh, well, I can't wait to see it. Thank you again, Roma. Our time is up. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ben-Hur hits theaters worldwide on August 19th.